Syrian youth support for Ibrahimi's mission and calls on the international community to halt supporting terrorism. A Lebanese source admits the killing of 17 armed men who tried to infiltrate into Syria. A new evidence appears on the involvement of Al-Qaeda mercenaries including Al-Hariri and Saqr in shedding Syrian blood. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Arab Television in Damascus. The UN General Assembly renewed its demand for Israel to completely withdraw from the occupied Syrian Golan until June 4, 1967 lines in implementation of the UN's relevant Security Council resolutions. During the UN General Assembly session held to discuss the situation in the Middle East, the Assembly reaffirmed the inadmissibility of the accusation of land of others by force according to the international law and the Geneva Conventions. Members of the delegations denounced the oppressive Israeli measures in occupied Golan. Syria's permanent representative at the UN, Bashar al-Jafari, stressed that Syria is determined to liberate the Golan fully by all means guaranteed by the international law. Al-Jafari affirmed that the solution of the Syrian crisis should be political, based on conducting dialogue among the Syrians led by the Syrians themselves. Addressing a UN General Assembly session, Dr. Al-Jafari clarified that the success of any initiative to resolve the crisis in Syria requires from all the states supporting terrorism to halt funding and arming terrorists. He emphasized that Syria supports the UN envoy Al-Akhdar al-Ibrahimi's mission and agrees with him on the necessity of finding a comprehensive political solution to the crisis in Syria with the participation of all parties. Al-Jafari stressed that there is a real opportunity for resolving the crisis in Syria through supporting Ibrahimi's mission and pressuring the states supporting terrorism to halt arming, funding, training and hosting of terrorist groups and encouraging opposition to reject the comprehensive national dialogue. He referred to the rejection of some member states of the UN Security Council to denounce terrorist explosions that took place in Syria and claimed the lives of scores of Syrians. In our local news, the Ministry of Information affirmed that Damascus International Airport works in a regular way. An official source at the ministry said that the road leading to the airport is safe, stressing that the news broadcast by some misleading satellite channels is groundless. Syrian Arab Armed Forces continue to pursue Al-Qaeda terrorists in several areas, inflicting heavy losses upon them. In Deir ez-Zor, an army unit pursued several armed terrorist groups affiliated to Al-Qaeda, killing and wounding a large number of terrorists in the Jbeili neighborhood. In Damascus countryside, a unit of our armed forces clashed with Al-Qaeda affiliated armed groups in Faiz Mansour Street in Hajira town and killed all of its members. Among the killed were Abdulaziz al-Bahturi, leader of the so-called Ahrar al-Julan, and the leader of the group affiliated with Jabhat al-Nusra Front named Abu Stayf Rahmoun. In Daraya, a unit of the armed forces discovered a plant for manufacturing explosive devices near Al-Basil Square with a huge number of detonators and manure used by terrorists to make explosive devices, in addition to dozens of explosive devices ready to be detonated. Moreover, another unit of the Syrian armed forces clashed with Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorists near that area that were perpetrating acts of killing of civilians in Al-Corniche area in Daraya and killed a number of their snipers. Syrian armed forces continued chasing terrorists in Arbin and Zamanka towns and in Al-Bastala neighborhood in Harasta, killing and wounding dozens of them. Another unit of the armed forces killed a number of terrorists of the so-called Liwa al-Islam Brigade near Al-Baladiya Square, Badran Square and Ashifoniya in Douma. Another unit of the armed forces destroyed a plant for manufacturing explosive devices and killed a number of the members of Al-Qaeda who took shelter in the site in Al-Mleha area. In Alawan orchards near Daraya, a unit of the Syrian Arab Army seized a number of explosive devices and anti-armored vehicle mines that were hidden in a villa in Darb Talib Street. and discovered a hideout used by terrorists and seized a huge quantity of explosive devices weighing between 10 to 40 kilograms. Moreover, a unit of the Syrian Arab Army discovered a mass graveyard of civilians who were kidnapped and killed by terrorists. In addition, a huge number of explosive devices that were planted along public roads were detonated by the armed forces. In Homs, a unit of the Syrian Arab Army clashed with the terrorist group in Al-Nusayriyyah, Tal Dahab and Al-Huli in Homs countryside, which led to the killing and injuring of tens of terrorists, whereas a unit of the Syrian Arab Army faced terrorists who were trying to attack a barricade for the law enforcement forces in Dibe village, also in Homs countryside. The Syrian Arab Army killed some of them. On the other hand, units of the Syrian Arab Army made a series of qualitative operations against the terrorists in Al-Aqsir, killing and injuring most of them, and destroying a Kia car mounted with a machine gun, in addition to a van, while the security forces killed tens of terrorists in an ambush in Jusiya fields in Al-Aqsir. Two of them were identified as Ibrahim al-Haseki and Ali Hasyan. Lebanese Foreign Expatriates Minister Adnan Mansour stressed that the continued influx of weapons and armed groups into Syria is considered a foreign interference in Syria's internal affairs. Interviewed by Al Mayadeen TV channel, Mansour said that the influx of weapons would prolong the crisis and hinder the possibility of reaching a solution for it, adding that the state and the army in Syria are still coherent. He went on to say that the solution to the crisis should be realized through dialogue, referring to the success of the UN envoy Al-Akhdar al-Ibrahimi's mission in Syria is based on the support offered by all external parties. While the Lebanese Foreign Minister Adnan Mansour stressed that keeping arming and equipping the terrorists in Syria is interference which may expand the crisis, a Lebanese source said that 17 armed Lebanese men were killed and others were wounded in Tal Karach near the Syrian-Lebanese borders. The source added that all the dead bodies were from Tripoli, killed in an ambush by the Syrian Arab Army in Homs, whereas the Islamic leader from Tripoli said that the dead bodies belonged to the Islamic Party in the city. The Lebanese newspaper Al-Akhbar has disclosed the involvement of Saad al-Hariri and Uqab Saqr in providing terrorist groups in Syria with arms, adding that relations between al-Hariri and the Muslim Brotherhood started and dates back to 2005, and Saqr was a leading figure in opening channels of communication between the two parties. The newspaper went on to say that the operation room was created in Al-Ashrafiyya area in Beirut in 2012, and that a number of Syrians and Lebanese young men were plotting against Syria in cooperation with a number of Western countries and others inside the country. Their main task was to smuggle huge quantities of communication devices that could not be traced by Syrian security intelligence. The newspaper added that Saqr was obliged to leave Lebanon and to move between different European countries and Turkey under directives of Al-Hariri and Wissam Hassan. Back then, as an unknown figure managed to penetrate Saqr's personal computer. From that moment on, the newspaper further added that the conspiracy to smuggle arms to Syria was initiated along with the role played by the Saudi Arabia to back the so-called Syrian armed opposition. It is to be noted that the Lebanese OTV channel and the Al-Akhbar newspaper website will broadcast the second part of the sound recording of Al-Hariri's and Saqr that unveils their direct involvement in the Syrian crisis and their support to the armed terrorist groups in providing them with arms and money. Many charity activities is taking place in Damascus nowadays before the holy seasons. A closer look in the following report.
Every year, the Church of Lady Damascus hosts many charity activities, particularly before Christmas and New Year's holiday. However, this year was different, as the charity work was focused on helping the displaced families who were forced to leave their homes due to the current circumstances that the country is going through.
مشاركتي عم تكون فقط بالشموع لأنه بس بعمل شمع.
I am participating by making candles. I only make candles, and candles can be used on all occasions, particularly nowadays. All the turnovers goes to local charity.
The St. Paul Charity Organization has given away many blankets and jackets to the displaced people to help them face the cold winter, as many of them can't get the heating fuel that they need. There were also some charity organizations that are paying for the medication and medical operation for these families.
احنا الجمعية الأهلية السورية لترقق العظام هدفنا انه
We are the Syrian organization for preventing bone mass loss. We want to make the public aware of this issue. We do this by lectures in schools and universities. We also do tests free of charge. These are simple things. We are here today to connect with the people, and many people are coming in, and this gives hope, and all of us need hope.
يعني هدول من الأمور
There were also some women helping the charity organizations by offering the cooked food and hot meals to the displaced people, and some other women are making blankets and other handcrafts so that they can be marketed, and after that the turnover is being given to the charity organizations so that they can help the displaced people.
And with the holiday seasons, we reach the end of our news. For more information, visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Stay with us after the break. Khalid has the latest in economy and finance.